The question now rises upon third reading and final passage of Senate Bill 621. Representative Barnhart.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill increases the annual cap on the amount of tax credits for contributions to the Oregon Production Investment Fund from $5 million to $7.5 million. That is the fund that's also called popularly the Film and Video Fund. It clarifies the definition of expenses eligible for reimbursement, resolves conflicts with Senate Bill 863, which has already been signed by the Governor. Colleagues, I urge an aye vote.
Further discussion, Representative Boone.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the bill.
To the bill.
Colleagues, this is a great bill to support. These monies turn around many-fold times in your communities. Recently in Manzanita, there was a 3-day film shoot. The 100-plus crew stayed in several hotels in Cannon Beach for 4 to 5 nights. They took over the restaurants. They left huge tips. They bought souvenirs for their families. They had a great time, and 5 house purchases are pending. It's a great bill. Please support it.
Further discussion, Representative Roblin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Potential conflict of interest?
Say your potential conflicts.
I'm hoping, at least, that my daughter, who just got her master's degree at USC in film writing and playwriting, would have an opportunity to eventually work someplace, including here in Oregon. So, thank you.
I thought you might be an aspiring actor yourself, Representative Roblin. Further discussion, Representative Bailey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the bill.
To the bill.
Colleagues, just very briefly, I wanted to brag that it was one of my constituents that invented the phrase "shovel-ready jobs" to describe this bill. I think it's an apt phrase. It's a good bill. I urge your aye vote.
Further discussion, Representative Brune.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the bill?
To the bill.
Thank you. Colleagues, this is a good bill. Movies are such an important part of American life, a quintessential part of American life, and they transform lives. They transform and change individual lives. I mean, even in my own example, I took up fly fishing years ago because of a river runs through it. I took up scuba diving because of the abyss. And I took up politics after I saw Dumb and Dumber. But I want to talk about... But the associations that you can find for movies are just beautiful and just wonderful. Even in our own chamber, you think of the associations with even some of the movies that are out on the big screen right now. For example, there's been some remakes out there, and some of you have seen, you know that Star Trek is out there right now. We start thinking, who among us could be those characters in Star Trek? And you think, well, what about Spock? Who could play Spock? How about the good representative from northeast Portland? That calm sort of logic and intellect. I think it would be great. But the real character is, of course, Captain Kirk. Who among us would be the Captain Kirk that would fill that shoe? Well, you'd need somebody that's larger than life. You would definitely need somebody who's animated in everything he does. You definitely need an overactor. I could think of nobody better to play Captain Kirk than the good representative from the Bedrock District. Of course, there's a new Terminator movie out too now, folks, and I think the candidates there are obvious. Of course, you've got the good representative from Albany, but I think the prize goes to the good representative from Gresham, who drives a Humvee. Colleagues, he is the only Democrat in the United States who drives a Humvee. God bless you. Now, when we're talking about films and movies, you've got to talk about the good representative from the Christmas Tree District. And with all these sequels going on, you'd think there'd be a good part, but there really isn't. Problem is, they didn't make a sequel this year to Saturday Night Fever, so I guess we're out of luck on that one. The movie Up, the great Pixar movie Up. You've seen this. If you haven't seen it, it's a great movie. And I'm trying to think, well, who sort of fits that? I mean, it's looking up, it's looking optimistic, and I couldn't really think about it. Then I thought, oh, the great analogy is playing the board, looking up on the board and doing your vote on that. And I couldn't think of a soul, but after we get done today, I'm going to sit down with the good representative from East Clackamas and see if we can sort that out. I think the most obvious one of the current movies that are out there is the movie Hangover. And I haven't seen this one yet. I've only seen the previews, but it looks like a fantastic movie. There is no better person to fill the role of the Hangover than the good representative from East Multnomah County. Is that the Hangover or is that not the Hangover right there? Finally, colleagues, you've heard about this movie, The Proposal, and this is one of those, what they call chick flicks. I haven't seen this. My wife has seen this. She loved this. And I thought, well, who fits the movie, The Proposal? And it finally, I couldn't think of anything, and then it finally dawned on me just a moment ago. An aha moment of the session, a defining moment. It would have to be the good representative from District 57, the land of food and shelter. Colleagues, this is a great bill. I urge your aye support.
Representative Brune, there was almost nobody in the queue until you spoke, and now the screen is full. There are now 8 people in the queue. Congratulations. Representative David Edwards, you were in the queue before he spoke. Go ahead. To the bill.
Mr. Speaker, actually, I need to issue a conflict of interest.
I'm sorry, please state your potential conflict.
I am a graduate of the screenwriting program at the University of Southern California. I worked in the film industry in California and hope to do so again here in Oregon, so I may benefit from this bill.
So noted for the record. Representative Jefferson Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the bill.
To the bill.
My staff and I compiled a short list of bills we have addressed this session that had to do, that we could link to movie titles. I will not read the entire list, but I'll offer a few. The Ace Ventura Pet Detective bill was to give more authority to animal investigators and Humane Society officials. The Puppy Mill bill got the 101 Dalmatians title. The standards for private safety officers got the Paul Blart Mall Cop bill. Representative from North and Northeast Portland brought us the Fat City and Supersize Me bill. And in the Environment and Water Committee, we had the Rogue the Killer Crocodile bill, the exotic pets ban that added the Order of Crocodilia to the exotic pets ban that had the Monkey Shines amendment. This will be the last one I offer. In the exotic pet ban, asking to exempt helper animals such as helper monkeys. If you will recall, in the movie Monkey Shines, the main character has a helper monkey who began committing violent crimes at the whims of his psychically linked owner, played by Ryan O'Neal. And in the questioning on this particular bill, I won't name the representative, but asked the question about what about the possibility of getting monkeys and chimpanzees involved in law enforcement and training these animals in the martial arts. And my good colleague from Southeast Portland claimed the movie rights for Kung Fu Monkeys and the sequel Kung Fu Monkey Mall Cop. So wanted to say thank you for bringing this bill. I am in support of this bill, but didn't rise to give that list until he gave his, but to give one note of caution, and that is we really do need to reform how we do tax breaks in this state, because it is too easy to add them when we really like them. I really like this one. I'm going to vote yes, and it takes 31 votes to do it. But let's say we misestimate this one, and someday we want to change it. That's going to take 36 votes. And we're never going to go through a priority-based process to deal with it, and we're just going to keep accreting them and add them. We had huge debates this session about Betsy reform. Another good one. If I had been there, I definitely would have voted in favor of the Betsy. Terrific time to deal with one of these tax breaks. Right now, we're spending more on tax breaks than we are on many of our services. So I want to have a note of caution as we proceed. I think we do need to reform our tax break system, but I'll be a yes on this bill.